Hello everyone. I've titled this Living in Fear because a lot of people, and I was one, operating from constant fear. Fear of being visible, fear of speaking your truth, fear of setting boundaries because you're afraid of being rejected, fear of being seen. I know the same thing as being visible, but it's like fear of being yourself because you're so used to being agreeable to fit in to places, situations, environments which are not supporting your growth. And when you have so much fear, it creates a fear-based life because you're making decisions from survival. Okay, oh, thank you for the love heart. I appreciate that. And it's something that, through I continually study, learn, practice, teach, and know that when you have better tools and resources, when you can analyze, in your life, like what are you using as a coping mechanism or survival mechanism? For example, doom scrolling. There's a lot of bad news on social media to instill more fear in you. So I'm going to give you one actionable step today. Be mindful of what you're consuming, who you're listening to, the conversations, speaking about all the bad in the world and all the things that are happening. And I had so much fear in my body for so many years that, as I said before, it created the chronic illness and anxiety and depression. But they were symptoms, they were things that were coming up without getting to the root cause. And what I teach is getting to the root cause and then feeling more empowered to implement daily habits that support you, support your growth, support the life that you want to live. I think somebody's got off there. Even speaking up can be challenging, but it's when you don't speak up. What is it costing you? What is it costing you to keep doing the same thing over and over again? To keep yourself small and hidden. One of my clients had said during the week, and this was something that I struggled with and still, have to choose courage to speak up and be myself, because you can feel vulnerable and open yourself up to judgment. But my mission, my purpose is very, very different now. It's impacting the woman that's listening to this, that's feeling overwhelmed, running on empty, people pleasing, afraid of conflict, so she says nothing, tries to keep the peace, holding everything together, overperforming, sacrificing her basic needs and her life to try and blend in, or again, she feels responsible for other people's happiness, their emotions, trying to fix, other people and look for projects, because it comes from, number one, a place of wanting to help people because it reminds you of when you felt isolated and lonely, but it means that you're inviting more chaos in. So this is for the woman who nervous system's in fight or flight, feeling overwhelmed, consumed by problems and noise, and then you choose the unsupportive habits like doom scrolling, getting into conversations, going down a rabbit hole, codependency, and your friends or your partner or the people that you do speak to on a regular basis, if they haven't came through what you're currently coming through, and if they can't guide you and support you in finding solutions, you just keep reaffirming the same thing and feel stagnant. It's like, it's self-fulfilling prophecy. And I've done this, so there's no judgment. So I encourage you today to be mindful of what you're consuming. What is currently putting your nervous system in more fight or flight? Are you, again, like social media can be so toxic, and it can, as I said, there's so much bad news. So be protective of your mind and your energy and your nervous system. And if you're doing things in automatic, just pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, is what I'm about to do right now going to help me, or is it numbing a long-term problem with a temporary solution? Okay? Fear. It affects every area. You make decisions from survival to just try and get through this, and then I'll figure the next thing out. But then you're still in fight or flight. Okay? Your nervous system has been trying to keep you safe, so therefore you cannot, perform at a high level, or you are just thinking about getting by one day at a time. But when you can calm your nervous system, and this is the thing, this is the key to your freedom, and learn more about yourself and the things that energize you, the things that light you up, how to become more authentic and unapologetic, and stop asking for permission. If you are asking other people what you should do with your life, it is not your life. And if you're asking, for example, right, if you go to a gym and the personal trainer is extremely overweight and they're not happy, and you ask them for advice, how can I be healthy and happy and improve my body? Like, are you going to take advice from someone who is not actually implementing, or they can't advise you? So be mindful who you're asking advice from. Hello, Ellen, how are you doing? I used to always ask people who could not guide me on my path. But again, it's like this thing, instead of actually having discernment, and it's not that people have to be, no one's perfect. We all have our shadow, we all have the light part in us. And it's when the two can coexist and we accept ourselves that we love ourselves more. And the point of this is, right, if you are living in fear, it won't change until you change your routines and your habits, and have supportive habits and routines in line to calm your nervous system and release the fear. And then when you can release what's inside you and reframe how you feel and how you think, you can then achieve your goals. You then want to do things that uplift you and energize you. But if you're operating on survival, okay, this is the message, you're just trying to get by. But not only that, your organs are working harder, there's chaos in your mind, the coping mechanisms are there, you're just trying to soothe. And if you think about overeating, it's this, thing of keeping yourself quiet, and it's your characteristics and qualities are all connected to how you feel about yourself. So if you are the people pleaser, that didn't come from nowhere because you weren't born with that. If you are in fear, it's looking at where did that stem from, because when you're operating from fear, you make fear-based decisions, and then you create a fear-based life, and it's survival, and you're not here to just survive. So be mindful. What are you listening to? What are you consuming? If you're already feeling fear, it's nurturing yourself. It's looking after yourself. The workshop yesterday, the feedback that I got, and even from one of my clients, she said even a few minutes that she had with me, her energy shifted. She felt more empowered, and and I put the post here, the feedback, she had a meeting a year ago. She would have been really, really overwhelmed, and she would have been afraid to be visible, but she was able to do it with a different energy and be proud of herself. And that version of her was inside all along, but she had got kind of off track on the busyness and overperforming, and feeling like a hamster in a wheel. So when you have someone with empathy and kindness and supporting you step by step, it means that even when things feel shaky and you revert back to the automatic, that we can pivot, that you then perform to a higher level when you feel calm and grounded and feel good about yourself, instead of comparing yourself, instead of worrying about opinions, instead of what will they say, who will judge me. When you give less, and I'm going to say it, give less fucks, because this is your one life, and you know that there's more for you, and it's not becoming a completely different version, it's coming home to yourself. It's becoming more of who you are meant to be, without threading on eggshells and waiting who's going to get offended. People will get triggered and people will get inspired, and none of it will have anything to do with you. So if you are in fear, all right, and I want to summarize this, give you value, it's be mindful. What are you doing? What's actually, again, it's like layers and layers of more fear. For me, it's social media. I want to be here to educate you, to encourage you, to create content that gives you value, that you feel valued, seen and heard, and that you know, okay, yes, I'm not on my own. I have choice, I have support, because I was that version, was always in fight or flight, always on the go. And I know so many women are struggling like that now. And it created so many breakdowns and rock bottoms. And again, many people have many rock bottoms, but people don't speak about it. They just try and brush things under the carpet and get on with things and pretend it didn't happen. But it builds up in your nervous system. It's in your body, because the body keeps the score. And I shared that before. So if your body's giving you feedback, listen, calm yourself, ground yourself, and know that you are not on your own. You don't have to do this by yourself, and you're not behind, you're not broken, there's nothing to fix. It's like, if you think about, I was reading a book about the Buddha that was hidden. I know I'm probably getting this wrong, but I'm not sharing the context, but I will share a post about it. So years ago, the monks hid this golden Buddha with clay and muck and things like that to hide it, because there was an intrusion of their land, and when they hid it, then they had forgotten about it, and it was, I think, many years later, somebody had came across parts of this Buddha, which was, beautiful and golden. But it's like us, we are underneath so many layers of programming, conditioning, people pleasing, shame and guilt, chasing validation, performing when we're just nearly on empty and about to, we're burnt out. All of these different layers that are not you. And underneath all of those layers, it's your authenticity, it's your freedom, it's who you are meant to be. You are golden, you are beautiful, you are one of a kind. When I share these analogies or these stories, and I've probably messed that one up, but hopefully you get the idea of it, is that who would you be, right, if you weren't afraid? Who would you be if you didn't care about opinions, and if you had confidence, and if you just showed up anyway, and even if you messed up a story and you didn't care, but you knew that somebody needed to hear the message? Perfectionism, again, is putting so much pressure on yourself because you're afraid to be seen flawed or imperfect, or afraid of judgment. People will judge you anyway. But when you judge yourself less and love all the parts of you and have compassion for yourself, your energy changes. You're showing up, as a different version of you, the version that you're meant to be. Okay? So it's not about becoming someone completely different. It's about becoming more of who you are, your authenticity, your quirks. The things that light you up. Creating calmness in your mind, in your environment, having internal peace, because what you have on the inside shows on the outside, and disconnecting from the noise, the chaos, the bad news, because we can't change it, but we can change ourselves, okay? So to finalize this video, I just want you to be mindful of who you listening to, what are you consuming, and is it helping you, or is it actually putting another layer of your nervous system in fight or flight, okay? Protect your mind, protect your energy. That doesn't mean you have to go into isolation and stay away from everybody, but when you know yourself better and you have better tools in the toolbox when things happen, because they do, that you are more empowered. And it's the repetition of these things daily. Like, I practice meditation daily. I have other resources that I do daily, because the fear that's in your body, that was repetition. It's stored in your body, and the way to change that is to release what's within, so that you can become more of who you're meant to be and let more light in and feel brighter and proud of yourself and love yourself. You're not your failures. You're not the past. You're not your mistakes. You are a beautiful, invaluable human being with so much inside you. And regardless what age you are, or where you're at, or what's currently happening, you have so much more to offer, to give, to receive, to be, to have. And it's the being part. Like, who are you being? Someone that's afraid of judgment? Are you mistreating yourself? Are you doing the same thing over and over again? Like I said before, it was a Groundhog Day. Every Monday thinking, oh, I know that there's more for me, and I felt so much shame and guilt, and I was in a body that I didn't love. Years and years of repressing emotions, and I know that so many of you are struggling with this. And you don't have to, all right? You do not have to. Be kind to yourself. So today and every other day, be mindful and just check in. Like, are you constantly on doom scrolling? And it can be easy to slip back into that habit, but just look after yourself, protect yourself. And if you're having the same conversations with the same people, and if it's codependency, unhealthy, you're not making progress, again, be mindful. If you think about someone learning how to swim, they get a swimming instructor, or someone that teaches them how to swim. If you learn or think about someone learning to drive, they get someone to help them to learn how to drive. I can't even speak now. I am a driving instructor. Think about the sports enthusiasts or athletes, they have support, they have guidance, they have coaches. You deserve support. You are valuable, you are worth it. So don't neglect yourself, don't abandon yourself, don't be hard on yourself today. Treat yourself with kindness, compassion, empathy, and remember, you don't have to do any of this alone. All right, I send you love. Have a beautiful day, and I will talk to you soon.